What's up, guys? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. Thanks for tuning in. Corvette Weekly is the show where we discuss anything and everything Corvette. Tonight, we're going to be talking a lot about the new C8 Corvette ZR1 coming out. We're going to be talking about the C8 Corvette lineup in general, just kind of blowing things up. People are still being surprised by all of the lineup of the C8 Corvette. They're all doing very wonderful things. We're going to talk a little bit about maintenance on the C8 Corvette and again, just general ownership things with the Corvettes. And again, I'm going to kind of welcome everybody to the show. I see a lot of the same names popping up in here: Glass City Car Nerd, Ronald Jackson, all the same guys that we typically see on these Monday nights, which is awesome. We want to build this community up, and it seems like it's really working. Before we get too much into it, though, guys, I want to basically go over some formalities here. As usual, this particular live video is brought to you by the guys over at NCM Insurance. The link is in the description down below. If you click on that link, you're going to be presented with this website. This website is going to allow you to possibly save up to 50% on your car insurance. 50%.
There it is.
You're just going to click.
Second Z06.
Yeah. You're just going to click up at the top right, get a quote. And then on step number 5, you're going to make sure you put in there, it's going to say, where'd you hear about us? You're going to put in HPO, and that's going to give you the best possible savings, and it's going to help out the channel. So before we get too much into it, I want to obviously give you guys the information with the NCM Insurance. Go check them out. If you haven't done so yet, I know there's some of you out there that haven't. Check them out. There's no reason not to. It could possibly save you some money. On the next note, really quick, before we get into the information of tonight, want to talk to you a little bit about how you could possibly win a Z06. I know we're talking about the ZR1 tonight, and everybody's happy and excited about the ZR1, but why not take a chance to win the Z06? Again, the link is in the description down below. Throw $25 at this thing, and you get an extra 9 entries just because you're a horsepower obsessed fan. You're getting 50% more entries just because you're clicking the link in the description versus finding this anywhere else. You can win a 2024 Corvette Z06 with the Z07 package for 25 bucks. And it's in a color that you can't even actually technically get anymore. So if you come on this website, over on the right, you'll see select your donation amount. If you hit the $25 one, it's going to take you to the next page where right off the bat, you'll see up at the top left, the promo code HPO. That's going to be what gives you that extra 50%. So again, guys, check it out. Link in the description. Go win yourself a Corvette. I think that would be amazing if somebody on here actually won it. But
It does give you a different promo code, the larger amount you select too. So
no, it doesn't. It's the same.
I thought it said there 2,000 promo,
Well,
8.
no, it just gives you 50% more entries regardless of how much you spend. But I'm just saying, if you're only throwing 25 bucks at it, it's still going to get you 9 extra. You could go all the way up to $2,000, where it's going to get you an extra 2,000 tickets. So you could potentially win this car. And again, if you did, it'd be pretty awesome. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about what's happening in the chat over here.
10-second eclipse or 11-second eclipse did update.
Yeah, 11-second eclipse is now known as 10-second Z06. I love it, man. I remember I fell asleep one night. It was the night you got the car. I fell asleep and I was like, I wonder if he's going to change his name to 10-second eclipse. And then the next day I was like looking on here to see if you did. And then we mentioned it on that live video. It's awesome that you did, though. John Perkins is driving, so he's not on here actively, but he is listening, which is awesome. John, thank you. Cars and Airplanes is on here. He says first.
Bill Miller's on.
Bill Miller. AARPM. How you like
Baron?
How you liking that AWE exhaust, by the way?
You get an AWE exhaust.
Yeah. AWE exhaust all the way, baby. Paul LaMonica, we're actually going to be talking a lot about that video tonight. Another Vettastic Monday. Super 8, what's up, Joe? We're going to talk hopefully after the live tonight. Got a lot to talk about. Ronald Jackson, no, I did not have a nail in my front tire. Whenever I got my tires mounted on my new wheels, the front left tire just didn't fill it up enough. And for some reason, I didn't have a chance to do it until just recently, but they're all matched at 30 PSI now. Happy Monday. Darren Burnett's in the house. 2020 Matrix 8. Happy Monday. This is technically the weekend before the 4th of July. We'll see each other again right after the 4th of July weekend. So, yeah. Matt Hurley's in the house. There's the 10-second Z06 name. I love it.
What's up, Whip?
Blue Vet, Whip Reynolds. All right, guys. So a lot of you guys are in the house, and we got a lot to talk about with the ZR1 tonight because we're talking about where this thing is going to be revealed. Because initially, I don't know where it came from, but initially this was supposed to happen in Detroit or the Michigan area in general. So initially, GM was going to release the info or possibly reveal the car, whatever it is they're going to do. They were going to do it in the Detroit area. Right after I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's too far for me to travel. I'm not gonna go there." But then I heard Vegas. I heard a pretty solid source telling me that this was happening. This was going to happen in Vegas. So I was like, well, again, Vegas is a little too far for me, so probably not going to do that either. But the most recent rumor now, coming from actually two different sources for me. One of them is the C8 Corvette mid-engine forum, and another one is an inside source I have at GM, is saying Miami. Now, Miami makes a lot of sense for me. I got a place in my near Miami, South Florida, and I'm down in Florida all the time anyway. So if it happens in Miami and I can get some sort of an invite, I'll be there to film all this stuff for you guys. If not, I'm still going to do a live video just like I did with the Z06 reveal. I'm going to do all of it live. So you'll be seeing all of the same information you would see on GM's videos. You'll be seeing it right here live. So that's kind of the thought process as right now. And again, is it going to be Miami? Because let me show you exactly what we're looking at here. Because over at the mid-engine Corvette forum, they're pretty sure it's Miami. As you can see, there's a little timer up there at the top saying how many days there is until the new reveal, and it says it's in Miami. Now, this is interesting because John, the guy that runs the forum over there, he usually has some pretty solid inside information, and he's had two people tell him that it's going to be in Miami as well.
What is it, the 27th? 24th?
25th.
25th.
Yep. So he actually created a poll over here, though. Where do you think it's going to be? The Renaissance Center, Milford Proving Ground, Miami, Spring Mountain. That's kind of what I was thinking whenever they said Vegas. NCM's Motorsports Park, Virginia International Raceway, or other. I've not heard anything suggesting that it was ever going to be at the VIR or the Motorsports Park in NCM, but I did hear Vegas, Detroit, and Miami. So, what are your thoughts on all this stuff, guys? Do you think it's going to be? I can honestly, I can really see it being Miami. I think the majority of people that are going to be kind of the target audience, a lot of them are in Miami. That's big money, big money, because this thing's probably going to be expensive. Robert, I'm not sure if they'll live stream it or not. They did with the Z06, and it was a really it was a special event. I think I still feel like butterflies in my stomach when I think about that reveal. I don't know why. I was super pumped for the Z06. Honestly, more so than I even am for the ZR1. I think the ZR1 is going to be awesome, and I'm excited for it. But nothing gets me as excited as I was for the Z06 to come out. Let's see. Only other place could be would be Detroit, but yeah, Miami isn't bad. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too. Is Detroit's not a terrible idea, of course, because everything that goes on up there. But I feel like Miami would just be cool.
And what happens if they reveal it in the new purple color, like
Yeah,
Wisteria purple or whatever?
odds are good. We'll definitely see a new blue caliper option for sure. Yeah, 10-second eclipse. We will do a poll here. Let's see. What do we think? At a racetrack, I like it. Start a poll. Where do you think the ZR1 will be revealed?
When do they have to make their decision by? Could they
Who?
decide like change it last minute?
Oh no, I mean odds are good we'll know here pretty soon because people are obviously being invited to it. And that's the thing is I heard certain people have already gotten invitations to this. So those people that got invitations, they have to know where it's at. I mean, obviously you're being invited. Let's see. We got Miami. I'm going to put only the ones that I know of, which are Miami, Detroit, or Vegas. So let me know what you guys think. Where's the ZR1 going to be revealed? Detroit, Miami, Vegas. Throw your options up there, see what we think. It's definitely going to have blue stitching. It's going to have all the blue options because that's the ZR1 way. So it will have blue calipers. It probably will make an appearance, if I had to guess, in the new purple color. It will probably also have somewhere in there the habanero interior, which would be kind of cool. Dr. Corvette, I'll tell you what, man. If Chevy would actually do that, reveal it right in my drive. You know what? Reveal it in my garage. How about that? We'll put it right where my Z06 is now, and just leave it there after the reveal too. That's fine. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. The Corvette guy reveal at the Sphere in Vegas. That'd be pretty cool.
We saw that being built when we went down to SEMA in what, 22?
Yeah,
was it SEMA we went to? Yeah,
it was 22. Yeah, it was 22.
It was 22.
And that Sphere hadn't been complete yet. I remember looking at it going, what the heck kind of building is perfectly round? Now I know. Yeah, I know. I agree. Matthew Branson said, I wish they would let you pick what color you want the ZR1 and Zora.
Black Rose. Yes, that's a good choice. Too bad they don't have that color anymore.
It's pretty hot in Miami right now too, Joey B. Like really hot. Down in Florida, South Florida in general is roughly 90 degrees with like 300% humidity. Eric Bush says it has been decided. You want to share something with us, Eric? You want to share the information?
I'm thinking Florida.
I feel like it's probably Miami myself, but Steve says he was just at Spring Mountain last weekend. That's awesome. It's a great time. Great time. Glass City Car Nerd says hopefully Pittsburgh.
Because he lives in Pittsburgh.
Right. That's the only place that I can almost guarantee it's not going to happen. The thing that's funny about that though is that the reveal.
Remember they did it underneath that bridge.
With the pictures taken? Well, that wasn't the reveal of the Z06. The video that they shot of the reveal was actually filmed here in Pittsburgh. It was filmed under a bridge, the same bridge that I took a bunch of my ZR1 photos at, like literally a year prior. Can't yet, but you have a good source. Okay, so Miami. All right, so I have now three sources telling me that it's Miami. So odds are pretty good it's Miami. If that's the case, all I need is an invite because I have a place down in South Florida. So GM, if you're watching, send me an invite. I'm a ZR1 guy. I love ZR1s. I'm a C8 guy in general. I'm a Corvette guy in general. I love Chevy cars. Send me an invite, please. So hopefully they do. I would prefer dry heat. The heat in general, I can handle way better than the humidity is horrible.
LT4 power, not McKeesport, please.
Chevy wouldn't even consider going to McKeesport. Bobby says, I hope for Carlisle. I think if they actually reveal the car July 25th, if you guys haven't heard yet, Rick Conti is saying that they're not going to reveal the car. They're just going to reveal the specs of the car. If that is actually true and they don't show the car, we won't see it at Carlisle. But if they do show the car and they talk about everything other than availability, we'll probably see it at Carlisle.
John Q, don't we wish it would be affordable?
Yeah, Bill Miller, that's the bridge. I actually, if you look at a bunch of my ZR1 photos I posted back in the day, they were all taken under that same bridge. Yeah. So Tom says, what bridge? It's the railroad bridge by the Pittsburgh Convention Center. See if I can. I don't know if I can't pull up any pictures immediately of my ZR1, but yeah. Thanks, man. 10-second Z06 says it'd be epic if they gave you an invite. Would be well deserved too. I appreciate that. That would be pretty cool. I would love to go to one of these things. I've never been invited to anything that's invite only for GM stuff. It'd be really cool. I'd really love to do that. I mean, I've talked to Taj, I've talked to Harlan. They are all familiar with me. They know of the channel to some degree, but
they just like to invite car guys.
It really seems that way. It seems like the more you know about cars, the less likely they are to invite you. It is going to be a small event. That's what I'm hearing too. So Underground Riptile says, did you have the setup now, the same setup you have now as when you did the video with Street Speed and his Mustang? Also, why the Soul Cats over AWE and others? So no, the video I did with Street Speed, I only had the AWE exhaust. There was no Sport Cats. I went with Soul Performance Sport Cats because two reasons. Number one, they were the only one out of everybody that sells them that were willing to work with me. Number two, I bought them from Street Speed and got a really good deal on them. And actually, I'm going to give you a bonus reason, and that is, in my opinion, the ones that I've heard in person were the Soul and the Fab Speed, and I think the Soul sounded better. So I went with them based on that alone, and now my setup is what I would call perfect. I literally would not change a thing about the setup of my car. It sounds fantastic.
Does AWE even make?
Oh yeah, it is. my dad just texted me and said the picture of my car at the bridge I'm talking about is behind Amber's head.
Oh, that's true.
Move your head. That's the picture. So that's my ZR1, and that's the bridge that it was taken. That's where they filmed the reveal of the Z06 and everything. I forgot that picture was back there. That's funny. Oh wow. Okay. Well, thanks, Dad. Somebody's paying attention at least. Bill Miller says they will keep it in the trailer at Carlisle. It's the largest gathering of Corvette. If they don't show the car before Carlisle, that car will likely not be at Carlisle, even in a trailer. They probably won't bring it because there'd be no reason to.
What do you think? Do you think it'll be there this year?
I'll let you know on the 25th of July, because if they show us the car, it'll be there.
If not,
if they don't show the car and all they do is reveal the specs, there's no way that they're going to bring that car.
Do you think it would still be a 2025 build if they didn't
show
the car?
That was something else that has come up, and
it'd be 2026.
I wanted to talk a little bit about this. So let me pull this up, because there's been a lot of kind of wiggling back and forth as to whether or not the ZR1 is going to be a 2025. Originally, Chevy came out and said it was going to be a, or no, somebody found some VIN numbers that suggested it was going to be a 2025. Then there was pushback on that about how that didn't guarantee anything. Well, Chevy just sent out emails talking to people about getting a glimpse at the new ZR1 coming out, and they from Chevrolet themselves refer to this as a 2025. So over at the Corvette blogger, we can see here an email that was sent out to a guy named John here. It says, get a glimpse at the unthinkable 2025 Corvette ZR1. This is going to be a 2025.
So
I've been saying this for years now. I don't know why people keep fighting. Oh, it's not going to be a 25. It is. It's right here. GM's literally saying it's a 2025, and they're getting people hyped over this. And they would not be telling you this is going to be a 2025 unless it was going to be, because people are going to sell their cars in anticipation for this thing. So if they say it's a 25 and then say, oops, JK, it's actually a 28. Like, you just caused all kinds of craziness to happen because you joked or lied about the date. This is going to be a 2025. There's no doubt in my mind.
So you think the first deliveries will probably be summer of 2025? People getting them?
Maybe. I think you probably won't see much of this car until pretty late in 25, if I had to guess. Because in typical GM fashion, I mean, even with the C8 Z06, they were selling and delivering 2023 Z06s up until October of 23. That's way past when most manufacturers switch to the next model year. So it's very possible we see 2025 ZR1s getting delivered well into 2025.
Is it, do you think is it 1,000 horsepower or something like that?
No, I think Matthew Branson's pretty close here. He says it's going to be
875.
It's going to be 875 and 825. I think it's going to be closer to probably 850. A lot of people have heard and speculated it was going to be 800. It's definitely not going to be 800. GM's got to do more than that to sell this thing as being the king of the mountain, because that's kind of the ZR1's thing. It can't be only 45 more horsepower than the C7 ZR1, or else is it really the king? So I bet you 850 to 875, somewhere around in there is probably pretty close. It was either Motor Trend or Motor One has reported a couple different times that they've heard it's going to be 900. I don't think so, because if we do the math with the 850, if it comes out, it's exactly 850. Then all you got to do is add the hybrid motor from the E-Ray to the front with the extra 150 horsepower to make it the 1,000 horsepower Zorro. So I feel like 850 is probably that magical number. That wouldn't surprise me either. Bill Miller says, yeah, 2025 ZR1 with a delivery in spring 2026. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, wow, really?
Would not surprise
Pretty
me.
far out.
They were making 2023 Z06s that were held up in the Bowling Green assembly plant. It was in the parking lot because they couldn't get a single part for it. So they had a bunch of cars that were sitting in there. They were 2023s being delivered in 2024s. So Bobby Joe, the rumor with the Zora is as old as the C8 Stingray, because once the C8 Stingray came out, actually before it came out, there was a leaked document that supposedly came from GM that gave us a list of what cars were coming. So it said, the Stingray, the E-Ray, and that's the thing is they called it an E-Ray right off the bat. The Z06, the Zora, all of them were on that list, and so far everything that was on that list has come true pretty accurately, minus some tweaks in horsepower. Now, on that list, there is also a Grand Sport on that list. So there is a pretty good chance at some point we're going to get a Grand Sport. Now, these things could change, of course, but the Zora name and the E-Ray name were on that list, and there would be no way for someone to know about that E-Ray unless they knew something. So I'm pretty sure that list is accurate.
Anthony wants to know when the reveal is.
The reveal is, of course, right here. ZR1 is going to be revealed July 25th, 2024. And it is probably, based on the sources I have and the sources of someone in the chat here, it is probably happening in Miami. So less than a month from today, you'll be seeing that, hopefully seeing the car. We may only be seeing some specs or some talk of what the car is going to have. So the big question everybody's got, is this thing a flat plane crank? And I think that's what we're really going to hear for sure is yes or no, it's flat plane crank. Yes or no, it's a twin turbo. Yes or no, it's going to have 2, maybe 3 different aero packages, that kind of stuff. If what Rick Conti is saying is to be believed. He's usually pretty accurate, so I'm going to say he's probably right, but there is still a chance that we see this car on the 25th as well. Yeah, Zora always wanted a mid-engine car, and this is kind of his legacy. Plus, guys, this is being introduced right around the time that Taj is walking away from being the Corvette guy. So, Corvette, the chief Corvette. If he's leaving around the same time, this is kind of his swan song, we'll say. This car is going to be pretty good. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. The ZR1's always freaking awesome, but this could potentially be even better just because of that. All right, guys. So where are we at with thumbs ups? We're at 69. Boy, that's low. All right. So we got almost 200 people watching. Guys, if you could please smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so we can keep doing these kind of things. Let's get to 100 in the next couple minutes. Be really cool. Usually we're at 100 by 8 o'clock. We're only at 70 right now. So we need 30 in the next 3 minutes. I think we could do it. We got 200 people watching. Smash that thumbs up button, guys. Let me know you're liking it. It helps a lot. Let's see. What else we got here? Justin, have you heard the new Corvette guy, Romo, and the possibility of Corvette being its own brand? Yeah, so it's not Romo, it's Tony Roma. And he's actually a pretty big wig over at Cadillac right now. He's done a lot of good things with Cadillac, kind of pulling it out of being your grandfather's Cadillac and making it more of a sports car / performance car. So I think Tony's a good guy to hand this stuff off to. But at the same time, we'll see. I mean, he's replacing somebody who's done a ridiculously good job being Taj. So they're big shoes to fill for sure. But all right, we're at 90, 95 thumbs ups. All right, we're getting there. Let's hit that 100, guys. That's pretty funny. It hasn't even been a minute. Let's see. Rick's reputation is on the line again, LOL. Yeah, kind of and kind of not. I mean, I hear all kinds of stuff from inside sources, and a lot of times I'll repeat that to you guys. And if it's right, it's right. If it's not, it's not. I mean, I'm getting my information from inside sources, just like Rick does, just like a bunch of other YouTube channels do. It's not always 100% accurate because a lot of this stuff changes. It can change, or they could be purposely feeding incorrect information. there's not really any way to know for sure. But some of this stuff, usually if I hear something that I'm 100, like as soon as it hits my brain and I think about it, I realize that's accurate because I've also heard XYZ that fits right into it. So you gotta look, think about it a little bit sometimes. General Lee, what's going on, man? Welcome to the live video here. We're talking about the ZR1, about the reveal possibly being in Miami. Based on everything I've heard, it sounds like it's probably going to be, but yeah. If the new GM's GM gets confused, we may see a caddy badge on the vet. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Well, I mean, we've already kind of seen that with the what Cadillac was it that used the C6 frame? Justin, was the Corvette SUV on that list? No, no. There is no confirmation that the Corvette SUV will ever exist. It's been a rumor for a long time too. So if I had to guess, it will happen eventually. But as of now, there's nothing solid. There's no guarantee of that. I did see that too. Van Bortle just opened a new $6 million facility exclusive to Corvettes. I like that. That's kind of the start of it though. Yeah. That's kind of the start of what could bring us a Corvette SUV. Yeah, no, it was not on that list. That list initially was just the Stingray, Grand Sport, E-Ray, Z06, ZR1, Zora. That's all that was on the list. And then it gave us the horsepower and torque ratings of each one. And the Stingray was dead on, if I remember right. The Z06 was off by about 130 horsepower or something. It was pretty far off. But the ZR1 and the Zora sound like they could be pretty accurate. Grand openings on the 11th. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to have to look up the address to see if I could go too. That'd be pretty fun. See, LT4 powered, that's obviously my main concern with all of this is that the Corvette shops or Chevrolet in general doesn't really know how to work on a Corvette. But if it's Corvette specific, they'd have to. Bill Miller says, Amber, where's the wine? Are you going to show? Show him the wine. Show him the wine. It's almost all gone already. We're only half an hour into this. It's almost all gone. Show him. Put it up there.
It's apple juice with ice.
Yeah, right. I'm guessing this SUV will be a C9. That's possible too. Yeah, the XLR. Brian Cap. The XLR is what I was thinking. No. Was it the XLR? I gotta Google this now. Hold on. Cadillac XLR. Yeah, that is it. So the Cadillac XLR was the one that was built on the C6 frame. So Cadillac and Chevy they've tried to, or Corvette specifically, they've tried to cross paths before in the past. So yeah, the ZR1's going to be epic. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be an awesome car.
Bill Miller, is your car up at Blackout in Gibsonia right now?
It was. It was.
Yeah. Okay. Thought that was his.
I filmed it in one of my last videos, and I asked Bill to comment in the comment section if it was his, because I was pretty sure it was. And I never got that comment, Bill. Never got that comment.
Hey, cheers, 10 seconds, ES6.
Dr. Corvette says you should name this to Margarita Monday.
Only he knows about the margaritas.
Right.
We need another margarita night, Dr. Corvette.
Bobby Joe, that's a great question. He says, how do you think Chevy is going to upgrade the performance over time once they reach a certain horsepower? So at some point, even though the channel of this, or the name of this channel kind of suggests otherwise, horsepower is not the only thing that can improve performance on a car. So yeah, you can throw horsepower at a car as much as you want and make it just crazy amounts of horsepower, but then you run into problems with traction. You run into problems with the ability to turn. That's the big one. So you need a good suspension. You need good traction. You need good aero to keep everything planted around turns. So ultimately what GM, if I had to guess what GM and pretty much every other manufacturer is going to do out there, once they reach a certain peak horsepower number, which in my opinion, streetable horsepower is around 700 to 750 at most. If you're over that, you're really starting to push into ridiculous problems with traction territory. So outside of horsepower, active aero and aerodynamics in general, and weight are going to be the three things that all of these manufacturers are going to have to focus on.
Cheers, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
We have a really good winery by our house that for my birthday, what was it? A couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Justin got me a wine fridge that I can kind of just slide underneath a cabinet where our desk is at in the kitchen, and it's always usually fairly stocked. Just for Monday Night Lives, though. I just drink it on Monday Night Lives. Wink, wink.
Julian says, thanks for the content. Do you still have your C7 ZR1? Yes, I do. So I actually put that car in my video I just did of the oil change on my C8 Z06, which we're going to actually talk about here in a second, because my ZR1's down in Gibsonia. It's in storage. I do plan on getting it here pretty soon and giving it some love, because it needs some love. It's been a little while, so stay tuned for that. But yes, I still own my C7 ZR1, which is really the biggest reason I'm considering getting a C8 ZR1 is just so I could have 2 ZR1s, but we'll see, of course. No. So Robert Brunn says, do you think the ZR1 will be track only? No. Even the C7 ZR1 was not a track only vehicle. It was basically the Z06 on steroids, is what I like to call it. But yeah, okay, so that was Bill Miller's car. So one other thing I want to talk about here, guys, if you guys haven't seen it yet, the video I just did talking about the oil change and the transmission filter change on my C8 Corvette Z06. This is extremely important, and I feel like nobody is really talking about this as being as big of an issue as it is. Number one, you can't over maintain your cars. So if you have a car that you're changing the oil on too frequently, that's never going to be a problem. The EPA might disagree, but as far as your car is concerned, it's never going to be an issue if you change your oil too much. With that said, I went into this with the same mentality with my transmission filter on my Z06. I know the transmissions in the C8 Corvettes in general are we'll say the weak point. So I don't want to abuse my transmission. I don't want to under maintain it. So why not change the transmission filter every time I change my oil? It's not that expensive. I found them on Amazon for around $100. You can get a new transmission filter for about $100. So why not? I was changing my oil the other day because I have a track day coming up and I wanted the oil to be fresh and the transmission filter to be fresh. I had no idea. The car seemed like it was shifting fine to me. I had no idea, though, once I replaced that transmission filter, the difference in the way that car shifted was night and day. It was suddenly felt like it was a brand new car again. I put in a new transmission filter, and all of a sudden, the car shifted as if I just bought it. And then I realized that the car must not have been shifting very well before. I didn't really notice it getting bad because it got bad so progressively. Once I swapped out that filter, I realized you need 100%. You should be changing that transmission filter every time you change your oil. It's not, it just like Robert Brunn said here, it's an oil change is cheap insurance. So is a transmission filter change. If you spend $100 a year on a new transmission filter, that's not that much. That's not going to make or break you. It will, however, stop you from having to buy possibly a $20,000 to $40,000 transmission if it goes bad because you didn't change it enough.
Bobby Joe 24 has a really good question. It's the $1 million question. Will you ever sell your C701?
Probably not. So the C701 is one of those cars that, number one, I have it paid off, so it's not really costing me anything. But number two, it's one of those, it's such a special car that unless I got like a ridiculous offer for it, I'd probably never sell it. I've been offered $250,000 back right around COVID times, $250,000, and I couldn't do it. So if you really wanted to buy that car from me or from anybody that has one similar, you're going to have to come in with a pretty big offer, because the ZR1 is just such a cool car. I don't think I could sell it.
Plus it's a manual.
That's one of the biggest reasons honestly, if I had an automatic ZR1,
you think it would have been gone already?
It's not that it's not a cool car still, because it still is, but because it's an automatic, I probably would have traded it on the Z06, because the Z06 is so close to being just as cool, if not cooler, than the C7 ZR1. And if you're comparing auto to auto, I'd say the C8 Z06 probably is still the cooler car.
I feel like like there's still more room and more leg room in the C7 ZR1. I feel more crammed in the C8 Z06 when I get in it.
And see, that's kind of my feeling too, but cubic feet or whatever wise
Is it
of
similar?
it's bigger. The C8's actually
It's
got
bigger.
more room.
Maybe it's bigger in the front
Well,
engine or something, because I feel like I could stretch out more in the
the
C7.
the C8, especially mine with the competition seats, is probably why you feel that way. The
Maybe,
competition seat really hugs you, and it feels tight.
maybe. I just feel like I can't put my stretch out as much.
Yeah. Uh, Tim Tom says, "Do you think the GM will beef up the transmission in the ZR1?" I think they're not going to have a choice. I think they're going to have to. Um, Number one, the Z06 transmission was already slightly beefed up from the Stingray transmission for the same reason. There was more power. With the ZR1, it's not going to be just more horsepower this time. It's also going to be more torque. So, and torque is definitely what breaks stuff. And with that said, they're going to have to do something to make it a little bit more powerful or a little stronger to handle that power. So, yes, I do think they will.
Elijah has a good thought there. To give me the C8 Z06. That just wouldn't be an option. It's not paid off, Elijah.
I'd
So
I'd give her the first right of
I don't want the payments on it.
I'd give her the first right of refusal for sure. Here it is. Here's a number that you're not gonna like, but if you want it, you can buy it for that.
He charges his wife just like he charges
Nah, I'd knock a little bit
somebody
off
off
for
the
you.
street. Yeah, $1,000.
Eric says no one can shift faster than a dual clutch. 100% accurate. And that's why if I had an automatic C7 ZR1, I would have traded it for the C8 Z06 because the automatic in the C7 wasn't super great, but the automatic in the C8, it's a dual clutch, and it is a great transmission. It really is. If you take care of it, you have to do. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the video I put out, the maintenance video, check out the most recent video I put out here. It details how to change your oil and how more importantly how to change that transmission filter. It's really something you should be doing every time you change your oil. And if you can get the car up even on race ramps, you can do this. You don't have to have a lift. Luckily, I do. I have blackout tinting that's always nice enough to let me use their lifts after hours. And that helps a lot, but you can do it without that. And honestly, you don't want to, or at least I don't want to, pay a dealership, especially since they charge a lot of money for this. But more importantly, God knows what they're messing up.
You have those magic jacks, or not magic jacks?
Quick jack,
Quick
yeah.
jacks.
I would have done it on the quick jack, but honestly, I had the ability to use an actual lift. It was just easier. Or else I would have done it on my quick jack because it needed done here
See,
pretty soon.
AARPM says the same thing I do. That seems like there's more leg room in a C7.
There actually isn't.
That's wild.
I remember whenever the C8 first came out that they did a measurement of cubic feet or cubic inches or whatever that was available in the cockpit, and not including, of course, the rear hatch area of the C7. There was more room in the C8. Texas Clay, that's most likely an automatic if I had to guess. The manuals fetch 40 to 50 more than that.
Oh, that's a new name. I have never seen that person. Keep America 2A strong.
Hey, from South Carolina coast.
Congrats. Yeah, we like South Carolina. That's where we got married.
It is Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you. I like seeing new names in here, but I also like seeing all the older names. That's true too. Jay Murph says that's what the 500,000 GM points are for. So the cost of taking the car to the dealership to get maintenance done, oil changes, transmission filters, like I'm telling you, you could use your 500,000 GM points for this. So if you really can or really don't want to do it yourself, let GM do it, and you'll still get it done for free technically.
Did you use any of your points yet?
No.
You can't use those for car payments, though, right? It has to be
right. You can
accessories.
You can if you have it through GM Financial, but I did not.
I thought somebody said if you had the GM credit card, that you could use it with that too. Wasn't there a discussion at one point?
I don't know.
If you had the GM credit card, you were able to use it that way too for like a payment or something. I thought somebody said that.
Robert Brun takes his ZR1 to the dealer every 5 months for an oil change. Do you think you'll ever have 3 vets all at a time?
You've had
yeah. So I had a
C5.
Yeah, I've had a C5 Corvette with my C8 Corvette with my C7 ZR1. Then most recently, I had my C8 Z06, my C7 ZR1, and a C6 Z06.
AARPM has a C8 and a C7.
No, he used to have a C8 and he traded
Oh,
it.
he traded it for a C7.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because he liked, and actually, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure you said you liked the idea of having a manual transmission more than the auto in the C8, right?
That's what he has on his C7 as manual.
Yeah.
I saw that at when we were at the
Yeah,
Kentucky,
the bash.
the bash.
Yep.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, guys, where we at with thumbs ups? We got 200 people watching, and we are at 133 thumbs up. So we got 15 minutes to get 67 thumbs ups.
Hey,
We could do it.
Hey,
We just got like 40 in 3 minutes. So smash the thumbs up button, guys.
So Dr. Corvette just got a new Blazer, an EV. How do you like it, Doc?
Oh yeah, we talked about that before. So you can use those points as a down payment. That's kind of
He
cool.
said he used 15,000. What would that be in dollar amounts? Would that be $15,000?
No, that would be 1,500.
1,500.
I think, something like that. But what I'm probably going to use my points for would be tires and maintenance, because I already used my free oil change, my free transmission filter change. The one that I have to do at 7,500 miles, I have to do that at GM because of documentation purposes. I will pay them with my GM points to do the oil change and the transmission filter change at that point. I talked to the guy that I went to for the first round of oil changes and stuff. He told me if I provide the oil filter and the transmission filter, that they would still charge somewhere between $500 and $600 just for the labor, which is kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is.
So AARPM said he did sell the automatic for the manual.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And honestly, I can't disagree. I'm a manual guy. I love shifting my own gears. That is the biggest reason why the C7 ZR1 has not been sold.
General Lee got he said tires with his reward points.
Yep. A set of all seasons from the E-Ray. That's pretty cool.
Evan, we're actually working on trying to get a new design for the HPO shirts.
Yeah. So I'm actually working with was it Super?
He was just in here. Super 8.
Yeah, Super 8 Creations.
Yeah.
Joe Lamb helps me out with that. I'm actually going to be talking to him after the show.
Dr. Corvette said it's 15,000.
Oh, it is 15. Oh, so he must have meant. Did he put?
I thought he put 15,000. Wouldn't that be 150,000 points then? Maybe he just left out an extra zero.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, because maybe he meant 15K. Bobby Joe says, do you think that all Corvettes after the C8 line will be hybrid assisted? Also, do you think the C8 Grand Sport will have a tad bit of extra horsepower than their Stingray? No. So I think the C9 is not going to be. Originally, it was supposed to be fully electric, and then GM kind of felt some of the pushback, some of the people not wanting fully electric cars. So I think the C9 will probably be all engine based again, just like the Stingray typically is, just naturally aspirated.
Stephen Risha's right. $5,000 equals 500,000 points. So it's like an extra zero at the end of it.
Yeah. But yes, the Grand Sport also, if I had to guess, will have a slightly different engine than the LT2. It's been rumored to be somewhere around 525 to 530 horsepower, so it will have a slight bump, but nothing crazy.
Do you think we should end the poll to see what's?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the poll. All right, so we have 133 votes. 47% of you guys think it's going to be in Miami, so that's likely where it's going to be.
There's not even a close second, really.
9%
Vegas.
Honestly, Vegas has a better one than Detroit, so it's probably going to be Miami. I'm okay with that. I think it makes more sense. And also, Stephen Rapp, I wanted to ask you, did you sell your Z06? I thought I saw that somewhere.
Stephen Rapp or Stephen Marisha?
No, that's Stephen Rapp.
That's Stephen Rapp.
Yeah. Okay. Did you sell? Let me know if you sold your Z06.
He would have sold it already?
He's at the gym. That's why he's texting shorthand like a caveman. Nice. Daily driver, auto, fun needs be manual.
If you see me here on a Monday night, that means I skipped the gym. No Planet Fitness tonight. Just because you begged me to be on these.
I beg. Toyota is committed to internal combustion with no hybrid as an option on future models. Guessing GM will follow. It's funny you say that though, Glass City, because I know the new Tacoma is hybrid, And that's one of the biggest reasons why I would not consider that. Um, hybrid hybrid's okay in my opinion, but full electric is a definite no as a replacement for my fun car. I think full electric is a great option, and I will, other than the fact that Amber has one now, I will personally own one eventually too, but it will never replace my fun car. I want my fun cars to be loud and obnoxious and just crazy. That's how I like my cars to be.
The sad part is my old car still stares me in the face until you get it to Florida. I actually miss my old car features, but I like the horsepower in the EV.
We'll talk about more of
Yeah,
this.
sometime. Yeah.
I'm going to do a review on her car eventually here because it is an interesting car, but being fully electric, of course, it has its pros and its cons.
I don't miss going to the gas station. Just charge it right in the garage. There was
Move a
there was
decimal
something
2 places to the left. Math is not my strong suit, Paul. It's
not mine either.
probably not hers either.
There was a question up above. Scroll up a little bit. Oh yeah, Glass City Cardinal. That was the first time I met him. The question he answered was the time we went on those that
Driving
road
down.
that driving down with
Yep.
Blackout. Is there another one of those coming up?
There was supposed to be one last Sunday, but it got rained out.
Yeah, we need to do another one of those.
Dr. Corvette says they should only make the ZR1 in manual. That would eliminate an automatic transmission problem. That's the thing, is that typically manual transmissions can be built to handle more horsepower than an automatic can, price wise at least. It's cheaper to build a manual to handle more power, but the way that the C8 Corvette's set up, there's almost no way to put a manual transmission in it without having the shifter be at like shoulder height, because the center console comes up at such an angle. Now, of course, to go with this, there is a rumor that the 2025s are going to have a redesigned interior, so maybe they get rid of the steep incline in the center console area where they could put a manual shifter a little lower. If you guys don't remember this, very early on in my YouTube channel creation here, I put out a video talking about the fact that GM had patented a clutch by wire system, which was really interesting because this is kind of talking about the fact that they are playing with the idea of making at least one of these C8 Corvettes a manual transmission. It is possible. Why not the ZR1? We'll see. Just because they patent it does not mean that it will ever come to fruition. So just because that patent exists does not mean you will ever see a manual transmission car, but it definitely doesn't mean that you won't either. So we'll see. Stephen Rapp answered my question. Where is that at? Sensitive subject. I'm sorry. However, yes, and ordered an E-Ray. It was under best circumstances, and yes, I'm currently vetless. I should be whipped. Stephen.
That stinks.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I hope you got a good price for your Z06 at least, because you had a really nice spec car.
By the way, Lindsay, bottoms up. I need a refill here.
Jay Murph says your fingers and toes are crossed when you say you're cool with a hybrid vet. I didn't say hybrid vet. I said I was okay with hybrid. Not necessarily a vet. My first dive into a hybrid Corvette, I was both impressed and bored. So take that for what you will. I did a review on an E-Ray that I drove. It impressed me on some aspects, but ultimately it was a very boring drive. It just felt almost too soft, too controlled, too boring. Like the fun cars in my life that I drive are sometimes wild. I mean, sometimes they're too much, and that's where the fun starts. The fun starts at the end of your comfort zone. I know I sound like a poster now, but that is ultimately it. When you're in the E-Ray, everything feels way too controlled, and because of that, it doesn't feel fast. And that's where I'm at with it.
We need to do that video here really soon because
yeah, we do.
There are things that I miss and things that I like. So
Mark Surge says, Justin, when do you think they'll update the website to the 2025 Corvette model year so we can see the new colors? I would say it's going to be pretty soon. It could be in August. It's usually around July, the middle of July to August that they flip this stuff over. It could be right around the time that we see the ZR1, or at least a reveal of something with the ZR1. Saying all of that, the Zora will make a great track car if they can get the electric charging worked out. That's another thing, is the people taking the E-Ray to the track. If you're on a smaller track like VIR, 90% of your driving on that track is going to be completely without hybrid assist, because you will run through that charge and it will not be able to recharge in the time that you're on that track. And then at that point, all you're doing is pushing around an extra 400 pounds for no reason. That's why the E-Ray is a great car for what it is, a grand tourer, in something that can be thrown on a track here and there. If you're going to use that car as a dedicated track car, you're going to be disappointed. It's not going to work as a track car. And GM doesn't say that it does. So this isn't something that I'm going against GM's word on. GM made the Z06 for the track. It made the E-Ray for something that can be on the track every now and then if you have a track day here and there, but it's mostly a touring car.
No room for a manual in the C8, says
Yeah.
Tracked Up.
Yeah, there's not. As it sits.
It seems like it sits up higher. And
it does.
Just whole that rounded part of it's kind of like closed off.
If you were, it's that almost shoulder height that you would be shifting. It would be very uncomfortable. But if they redesign the interior, it's possible that they could do something.
89's Net Surf. Are you going to be at Carlisle? Love your channel and content. Thanks for the positive
yes
comment.
Yeah,
we will be at Carlisle. We'll be with AWE in the Midway section.
Yep, just like every year prior, we've been with AWE right there in the Midway, so you really can't miss it. If you look for AWE, you're going to see my booth right beside it. You should come out. I'd love to meet you. Bobby Joe says, have you seen the channel Boosted District? They put twin turbos on E-Ray, now it makes 1,000 horsepower, and they keep trying to improve it. Yeah, so I have seen that, and honestly, everything I see from them, they seem like they do really, really good work. The car looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I still just can't get over the hybrid thing. I can't do it. I feel like for the amount of money you're putting into that car, again, my review mostly about the car, the biggest thing I'm disappointed about with the E-Ray is the price. If I'm going to spend basically the same amount of money on an E-Ray as I would a Z06, I'm going to get the Z06. The Z06 is the better car stock for stock. Now, if you're talking about buying the E-Ray and throwing an additional 100 grand at it, yeah, that's the better car then, because now you got 1,000 horsepower and you got all-wheel drive, so it's going to launch like a mother. But now you're talking about the price of possibly the ZR1, which is going to be even better than the E-Ray with all that stuff. So it's just, if you're talking stock for stock, and this is how GM slots these cars, the Z06 is the top dog right now. The E-Ray is underneath. That's just the way it goes. I don't think, price-wise, I don't think that they didn't price the E-Ray correctly. I think the E-Ray should be $10,000 to $15,000 less than it is.
See, like I own an EV. I just think that a sports car should be heard. 100%. It just sounds so weird. Even with my car, like there's certain things that I miss that, like I'm like a ninja coming. You can't even hear me. Hear me coming.
And that's the difference between a full electric and the hybrid, though. And just like General Lee's saying here, he says facts. There is no fun like the Z06, and that's the thing. I tried my best to get this across in a way that doesn't sound like I'm hating on the E-Ray, because I'm not. I fully appreciate the E-Ray. I fully appreciate what GM did with it, and I fully see where it fits in the lineup. I think it's a great option.
You just like things loud.
Well, it's not just that, because you can get the E-Ray loud. It's the price. The price doesn't make sense. And you can make the E-Ray sound loud enough, because it ultimately it's going to sound just like a Stingray. It's the same engine, but it's not special. It doesn't have that special center exit exhaust, flat plane crank scream. The drive of it's super soft. It's a lot like a Stingray, and the suspension's soft.
Is the suspension different than a Z06?
Yeah. Yeah, it's more like a
hybrid is part gas, part electric.
Right.
So does the gas kick it? Can you control what's kicking in? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So on my review I drove the car as far as I could. Actually, I could have driven it even further, but you could go up to, I think it's 45 miles an hour before the gas engine kicks in. So if you want to drive the car like you drive your car fully electric, you can do that up to 45 miles an hour. And it's like I can't remember how many miles, 10 or 15 miles or something before the battery dies that it would have to kick on.
Are you serious? So the battery is not like
No, I mean that's normal of hybrids.
I gotcha.
Hybrids, they're not ever supposed to really go a long distance on battery. So ultimately you can drive it like that, which no one's really going to choose to do that for very long other than to show their friends that they have an electric Corvette. Because once the gas powered engine kicks in, you have a good bit of power. Because now you have the 495 of the Stingray plus another 150 from the hybrid motor up front. So there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of all-wheel drive. But my big thing is I could immediately, the second I turned that wheel, I could immediately feel the extra weight in the front of that car. And that's the last thing the C8 Corvette needs. It needs no more weight. We need to lose a lot of the weight out of the current setup as it is. When you add 400 extra pounds, I felt it. The car doesn't feel as fast to me. I know it's technically not as fast. It's quick, but it's not as fast as the Z06. So yeah, I don't know.
Is the horsepower the same?
It's pretty close.
Okay.
Steve says that the carbon ceramics on the E-Ray make the starting price 5,000 to 7,000 higher than it could be. That is partially true, and I want to kind of debunk what people are saying about that because you're right, but at the same time, GM didn't have to actually make the car 10 grand more because of the carbon ceramics. Yes, the carbon ceramics cost more, but it doesn't cost GM 10 grand. If that's the case, they should have built that into the entire idea of the car. The E-Ray should start at $79,000 to $85,000. That's it. If you're going to have the Z06 at 108 or 109 or whatever it starts at now, the E-Ray should be significantly less. It should be 10 to 15 less. So we'll say 90 grand should be the absolute highest that it starts at.
What is the starting price of an E-Ray?
It's like $5,000 less than a Z06.
Really?
It's just, it makes no sense to me at all.
I didn't realize they were that close in price, but they're performance-wise, they're not the same. Right?
No, yeah, performance-wise, they're not. Stephen Rapp, first super chat of the night. Thank you, Stephen. He donates $99 and he says it's my penance for a temporarily vetlessness. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate that. I'm sure you'll have one soon enough, and I'm sure it will be exactly what you want.
So we're if we were to do another giveaway, you think here?
Yeah,
what would everybody want to see as a giveaway? Like what does everybody want? We're just trying to. We've been doing this now for over what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So over 2 years now, we're kind of like, I think we gave so much away. We're be on repeat now if we start giving away. So what do you guys want to see on a next giveaway here? Something that you're interested in. Dollar amount, we'd like to keep it possibly under $1,000.
Yeah, so guys, if you haven't noticed with the live videos here, we've gotten away from giveaways and we're getting more into just giving information, talking about information on Corvettes and everything. But I want to start getting back into the giveaways. So
maybe not weekly, but maybe like bi-weekly or one.
Yeah, I would say probably one giveaway every 2 weeks. It's going to be something a little bit bigger. But I do like the comment up here from Paul LaMonaco. He says, when you're changing your lug nuts to save weight, you're probably not going to be interested in an E-Ray. And that's exactly it. Because in my opinion, the E-Ray adds 400 pounds to an already heavy car for no real good reason. So I'll leave it at that.
What's up, Brandon?
Brandon's Garage is in here. He says, I don't really understand the standard carbon ceramic brake on the E-Ray. I don't either, because Chevy actually went as far to say that they had to use the carbon ceramic rotors. That doesn't make sense because I know so many other hybrid cars that do not have carbon ceramic rotors. So they did not have to.
Is it true?
They chose to.
Is it true that carbon ceramic rotors don't need to be changed if you don't track it?
Yeah. Okay. Carbon ceramic rotor will last the life of the car, assuming you don't beat the crap out of it.
Well, you figure your ZR1's already 5 years old. It's got carbon ceramic, and you never replace them.
Right. Yeah.
You don't track it.
I never will.
Track it.
I'll take Justin's C8 Z06.
Generally, you got a nice Z06.
I was gonna say yours is pretty nice too, man. Like, you don't need mine. Yours is already good.
General, how are you feeling too? I mean, obviously, in a overall type of thing, you don't got to get into details, but are you feeling better?
All right, guys, we got about 200 people watching, 161 thumbs ups, If you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up. Let me know you're liking the content. It helps a lot. We're pretty close to the 200 again tonight, so that's awesome. It's really cool. I appreciate all you guys watching.
That's a good idea. Steve Robertson, give away a Master Blaster or a Power Washer.
So
That's not a bad idea.
I'll actually show you afterwards, but I have a list on my computer of things I was thinking about giving away, and on there was a pressure washer.
Thanks for the idea. That's a good idea. Anybody else, shoot your ideas so we can give away. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so, we have another giveaway going here.
Matthew Branson, do you think the sound system is going to be better than the Z06? No, I think it's going to be identical, assuming that they don't change. And there is a good chance that what they're changing for the 2025 model year on the interior is the infotainment and speedometer to be all one solid piece, like it is in her car. Actually, it's going to be all one solid piece and one solid screen.
But it's rounded.
Yeah, and it's rounded towards the. It'll be more, probably even more rounded towards the driver again, like it is now. They'll change that, but I doubt that they're going to change the speakers or anything. Jay Murph, I'm not against that idea, actually. We'll do a giveaway on whoever wins can take my ZR1 for a spin.
That is such a lie, because you told me probably, 2 years ago, not even your best friend is allowed to drive that car.
No, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I think Larry has driven that car.
No, he hasn't.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he backed it up something. I mean, not actually drove it, but I mean,
no, I don't take him up on that, J Murph, because when the time gets there, he's going to be like,
Carbon fiber parts, door sills for a C7 or C8. That's a good idea.
Oh, Stephen Rapp said,
that's a good idea.
I've been to the P.O. box in quite a while.
Yeah, I went the other day.
Oh, you did go when I was at work?
Mike Surge says, I don't have a Corvette yet, so maybe something from your shop for the giveaway?
That's fair.
You mean the Florida shop, like Expel related? That's a good idea.
Maybe he means from the shop, either Florida or maybe a shirt or keychain or something. Maybe clarify shop for us. Is it the Miami shop down in Florida for the tinting, or is it actually his
giveaway Corvette merchandise? Nice. Corvette fever. That's funny.
That's funny, Brian Greer. Keep a lookout in your mailbox.
I was gonna say you might be pretty happy with what's coming then. Getting better, simply tired of complaining. Yeah.
That's good.
I hear you. As long as you're getting better, that's all that matters. Keep doing Corvette stuff for the giveaways. Don't forget about us Stingray owners. We're not the redheaded stepchild. No, you're definitely not. And that's the thing. We didn't even really talk about that part of the live video tonight. We're at 170 thumbs ups, guys. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and give one more round of smashing the thumbs up button.
Please, guys, come on. We need to be at 200 to not see this thumbs up mean looking thing.
But Ronald Jackson, I do want to talk a little bit about that, because I think the C8 Corvette lineup in general is fantastic. I think the Stingray's awesome. I think the E-Ray's awesome. I think the Z06 is awesome. The ZR1's going to be on. I think they're all very purposely built, and none of them are bad cars at any way you cut it. So a lot of the giveaways we do will probably be for the C7 and C8, just because those are the newer Corvettes. But usually the C8 parts usually will fit a Z06 or a Stingray, because there's not a lot different between the two as far as physically.
I just thought of something. Would you guys be interested in like a summer wash kit? Maybe some Griot's Garage. What do they call it? It's you spray it on. It's like a whatever, it rejuvenates.
Yeah, just a wash kit is what I would say.
Soap and some Griot's Garage stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, most car guys, I mean, if you're legit, you do your own work, so you probably wash your own car, I'm guessing, right? Wouldn't that be true?
That's true, actually.
You know?
This is true. So going back to the fact that I never let anybody drive my ZR1, Mike's from Street Speed 717 drove it. And not only did he drive it, he drove it hard. Like hard.
He's quick at shifting a manual though.
Yes, he is. He's pretty good at it.
I was there.
Okay, he was referring to HPO merchandise. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah, the C5 Z06. I don't think I could do that. There's too much money involved in that car. He backed it up, huh? Yeah. Hey, driving it, man. You're sitting in the driver's seat and you're working the shifter. You're driving.
No.
Stephen Mead, what happened to the guys that were on your show? So Jason and Steve are active in the Corvette car shows down in Texas now. the Monday nights basically became too much for them. They were too much to worry about, too much work. So they kind of stepped back a little bit on it. So
And I wanted to be on, and I couldn't be on.
he wanted to be on a little bit. Plus, I got Brandon and David to come on, which bring a more of a kind of a more knowledge based, more experience with the mechanic side of Corvettes and stuff like that. So I wanted to get it to be a little bit more informational. Yeah, I love the C8 comp seats too. Both my C8s have had comp seats, and if I get a ZR1, it'll have comp seats too.
Giveaway. How about a ride along in a car of your choice? Well, speaking of a ride along, do you remember those two kids that we took that were high school graduates?
Yeah,
In their parade, they wanted to ride. You took one in the ZR1.
yeah.
And we were going so slow, the actual brakes overheated in his car.
That wasn't brakes.
Was it
Clutch.
the clutch? Okay. And then I drove the C8 with the other kid.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good time.
So that's a good one. The only problem with that Boy Wonder is that a lot of you guys are watching from different states. It would have to be somebody locally that won that would make that make any sense, because if somebody won the giveaway and they live in California, I don't know how we would ever be able to get to the point of having them drive my car unless they flew into Pennsylvania to drive it, which that's a lot of money to drive a car. So I would be more than happy to take people for rides, especially, but
Unless you haven't decided if you're taking the ZR1 to Corvettes at Carlisle yet this year.
yeah, I'm probably not.
It's probably, if anything, it would be trailered like last year. It's not up for all those miles any longer.
So Bobby Joe, this is a good question. He says, is there any other car brand you'd ever basically purchase over a Corvette?
Porsche.
No.
GT3 RS? Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
You
probably
always talk about
a
this.
G yeah.
Come on now.
A GT3 RS. Brand wise though, I don't think I'd put Porsche in general over a Corvette. I don't think I would.
Did you like that Mercedes AMG GT that you
Nope,
drove?
nope.
No, okay.
Nope. The
So
AMG GTs do not do anything for me.
you talk about Porsche though. What
I like
you and Josh.
I like I like
them.
the GT3 RS. I like the GT4 RS. Those are fantastic cars, but and in a general statement, do I think Porsche is better than Corvette? I don't think so. But the GT3 RS is probably the better car out of that or the Z06.
Elijah wants to know Ferrari.
I'm not a giant fan of Ferrari either, unless you're talking about the SF90.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty much the SF90 or
that's so unattainable though.
yeah, I mean the SF90 is expensive.
So expensive.
It's expensive, but that's really one of the only that I like the 458s too. So either one of those two probably, but outside of that, LaFerrari, that you're never going to touch one of those, but I don't like every Ferrari made for sure. Yeah, the Corvette guy, that's exactly what I think. He's a tough guy to watch, because if you really dig into his uploads, if you dig into his videos, I used to, if you're looking to do something on a car that you don't know how to do and you type it into YouTube and you'll find some videos telling you how to do it. Any of his videos that tell you how to do something, they don't really tell you anything. Like, it's a real high overview, generalized approach to changing a battery or changing your brake fluid. It's always so generalized that it doesn't actually help me at all. So I'm not really sure what his channel really is.
Hey, Ronald Jackson. That's actually a good question. We talked about this before we did the went down to Kentucky in April, and that was, if we were doing Kentucky in April, we wouldn't be doing the caravan because it was so close to Corvettes at Carlisle. So we're probably not going.
No, we're not going, but I will be at Corvettes at Carlisle, and
we'll be there Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not doing the caravan because it was either the caravan or the bash. I wasn't going to do both, and because the caravan's so close to Carlisle, it made less sense to do that. So
I can't take off 2 back-to-back weeks.
More than you can afford, pal. Yeah, exactly. The Enzo is pretty cool. I forgot about that one. I should have put that in there too. But these are super unobtainable cars. Like
something 200 and under.
Yeah, you're talking way out of my price range. So it's not anything that I would ever even entertain the idea of.
Have the winner fly out on their own and drive a Corvette back to their own state. You just wouldn't want to put that many miles on the ZR1 if they chose that. It gets trailered down the street for like 100 miles. It doesn't even get driven anymore, really.
Yeah, Mark Surge says pretty much exactly where I'm at with all this. He says one of the reasons I love your channel so much is how heavily focused you are with Corvettes. I love receiving all my news from you about my favorite car. And that at this, I wouldn't even say at this point, and for the rest of my life, the Corvette will always be my favorite car because up until I actually owned one, the Corvette was my favorite car. I just couldn't have it. So I'll never get away from having a Corvette as my favorite car, even if I ever actually got into the GT4 or GT3 RSs and the Ferraris that are so expensive, it's incredible. It's never going to pull me away from the Corvette because I've driven those cars before. I know that they're awesome cars, but are they worth $300,000 to $400,000 more than a C8 Z06? The answer is no. The C8 Z06 is 90% as capable as any one of those cars. That extra 10% is where the other $300,000 comes in. It's not worth it to me. Plus, you get the amenities in a Corvette are always better. You get a better infotainment system, a better sound system, heated and cooled seats. Like you get all of it with the Corvette. And I love that approach. There is no, well, I'm getting a GT4 RS, I'm getting the RS, so I don't get I know on the old GT3 RS, you didn't get an infotainment system. You just got a black plastic cap there instead of a screen. It's like I don't want to have to give up things just because I'm getting a track focused car. If I want to remove stuff later, fine, that's on me. But the C806 is a perfect example of having your cake and being able to eat it too.
That was actually really nice how he said that,
Yeah,
receiving
definitely.
your news, because you do put a lot of time into these. You make sure that it's to the best of your knowledge, it's accurate. You don't put fake crap out there.
No, and I do my best to make it as entertaining and as
Yeah.
knowledgeable as possible. Like whenever I did the oil change video with the transmission filter and everything, that took me probably 4.5 hours to film all that. I could have done the oil change, the transmission filter. I could have done all that in probably less than 45 minutes. But filming it adds so much additional time, and I knew it was something that some of you guys would want to see. So I try to put out this information really to make it so the Corvette ownership experience comes through, because a lot of you guys don't even have Corvettes. A lot of you guys want a Corvette but don't have one yet. And I like the idea of allowing you to live vicariously through me, which some of you have said. Some of you have said that that's exactly why you watch my uploads, because you can live vicariously through me, and that's fine. I totally get that. I was once there myself, so I get it. But I want you to see all aspects of it. The fun parts, the maintenance parts, and even some of the not so fun parts. So,
You've been fortunate though with your Corvettes. I mean, other
yeah.
than that carbon fiber thing that you had, or those spark plugs in the ZR1, you, knock on wood, you really don't have major issues with any of these
No, no,
vehicles.
and that's one of
They're
the
all
that's one of the
pretty
reasons why
solid
I stick
cars.
with Corvettes so much, is because they are solid cars. I mean, you can beat on them pretty hard, and they're gonna ask for more. They're built very well. So if Corvettes were constantly breaking and constantly in the shop, I'd feel differently about them. But I've had very good luck with them, and I don't see why that would ever change. But anyway, guys, we're getting near the end here. So if you could please one last time smash the thumbs up button. Um, if you guys have any good ideas about any good giveaways you'd like me to throw on the channel here, shoot me an email. You can actually see it right down below here. That's my email address. If you want to send the email or even leave a comment on this video after it's not live anymore, let me know what your thoughts are on getting a good giveaway going, because that's a good one too, Boy Wonder. And we actually did a $250 gift card back in the day, but again, that kind of limits based on location, because if you're not in PA or Florida, it's really not going to do you any good. So
Thanks for already all the good feedback you've already given. Though we had about 4 or 5 people already give us some feedback.
yeah. Oh, and the Chuck 29 says made the switch to NCM insurance, and oh my god, the savings.
Sweet. Did you put in question number 5? How did you hear about us? Did
Yeah,
you put HPO?
if you put HPO, then we're good. Hopefully you did. But that's awesome of you. You're helping out the Corvette brethren. That's honestly, the Corvette community is one of the best communities I've ever been part of. And if that's all it did was help out the community, I'd be absolutely fine with that. I'm very interested in building a tighter community, helping out the community when I can, and just being somewhat of a pillar in the community. I mean, I know a lot of people know me now because of the YouTube channel, and I like the approach because I feel like, you know, I'm able to give the right information to the right people. Where I can help out, I definitely will. I'm a Corvette guy at this point, so he sure did. Awesome. I
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
it, Chuck.
Appreciate that.
Expel giveaway is not a bad idea. No, it's not. I think we'll play with that for sure.
Is there a way we could do a quick poll to see who's going to Corvettes of Carlo? That's just like next month already.
Yeah, no,
Maybe next week
we'll do it
that.
next week. Yeah, I think we're running out of time here. We got 185 thumbs up, so guys, you guys did really, really well tonight. I appreciate that so much. Smash it one more time for us if you can.
Oh, your wife didn't even hit it. Oops.
My wife didn't hit it.
Sorry.
My goodness. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for tonight.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
I'm going to let you guys go. I don't want to hold you up too long.
It was a good week.
It was. It was a good night.
Everybody tuning in.
As always, guys, smash the thumbs up, and we'll see you same time, same place next Monday night.
Good night. Thanks everybody. Cheers.